I'm back again, still talking about these percents, but this time we're going a little bit deeper. We're going to eventually get to word problems, but right now I want to start off the very basic percent questions, the is of questions. So we on 7.2, the percent equation. And we're going to do some word problems later. It's going to get rigorous. But right now we focus on the percent equation. So usually the setup's like this. The 100, you always put that on the right, to the right at the bottom for the denominator. That never changes. The things that change, sometimes you may have to find a percent number. Or sometimes you may have to find out what the is or what the of is. But this never changes. So a good way to remember this is to start putting 100 right here. And if it say percent, whatever the number is percent, then you put that up here. Now, if it don't give the percent, that's what you got to find. So if it's a percent problem, they either got to give you the percent or they not, right? They either got to give it to you or not give it to you. So if they give it to you, it goes right here. If they don't give it to you, you got to find it. That means X go right here. And then everything else is what they tell you what it is. So we're finna go through that. We're finna go through that sort of thing so you can see what's going on. But I want to give you a visual of understanding it first. So we're going to look at this stuff over here. So like I said, either you're finding the is part. So let's focus on the of part right now. We find the of. So the is and the percent percent is always known. In this problem, this question asks, 30% of what number is 20? But let me make up a problem so I can show you how this is operating. All right. So this is how I learned percents. I'm not going to lie to you. It's 10. If you had 10 $2 bills, that's $20, right? So that means you got all the money. That means you got all 100% of the money. So it's 100%. So, but if it's 10 twos, each of them is a tenth, right? Or 10%. Or each of them is a dime because it's 10 of them and it's got to equal up to the whole thing, which is 100%. So each one of these twos is 10%, right? So if each one of these twos is 10%, they say, well, if you was doing the of question, 30% of what is, let's go ahead, 30% of what is 6? Of what number is 6? So this is how you would set it up. So you say 30%, well, the 30 is right here. And so 30%, remember 30% is 30 over 100. And this is an of question. So that means the of part is what we got to find up here in the formula. So we already got everything else. The 30% would be 30 over 100, the is, but we don't know the of, so that's what X goes. Now, when you got proportions, you crisscross. So if you crisscross, you get 600 here, and then that's got to equal to 30 times X or 30X. So you usually crisscross the two numbers multiply these two and divide by the other number, right? So that'd be 600 divided by 30, which is 20, right? Because the zeros cancel and 60 divided by 3 is 20. So 20 equals X, right? So the answer is 20. So what about the next one? But you can actually see it too when you look at the bigger view of the picture. It says 30%. Well, let's count 30. 10%, 20%, 30%. Well, that means 1, 2, 3. So there go your 6 right there. So you can check your work even, right? 30%, right? 30% of 20 is equal to 6. There go to 30% of the whole 20, which is equal to 6, right? So you can check all of that just to make sure. Let's look at the next one. This time it's an is question. What is 70% of 20? Well, the correct answer here is 14, and here's why. Well, let's do it with the visual picture, right? So 70%, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, right? So there go your answer right there. But let's see how to do it mathematically. Mathematically, we're going to zoom over here. And, the is part is where we're trying to find. So the is going to get the X. So if we looking at the formula, it said what is. So we got to find the is part. So is, in the equation, is what we got to find. So all this other stuff is given to you. The of is of 20. So of is 20, right? And then the is you got to find. And then 70% is already done for you because 70% is 70 over 100. Now, when you crisscross this stuff, you get 1400. And when you crisscross this way, you get 100x. So 100x. So how many Benjamins is 1400? 14, right? So that's why the answer is 14, right? So we got those two out the way. Last but not least, this last one says, and we're going to go just right for the word problem here. What percent of 20 is 16? right? Well, when you look at this, the visual picture of how we counted the twos, well, what's 16? 2, 4, 6, 8, or 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So it's 80%. And that's what the answer is, 80%. But the way you set it up is like so, right? So it says what percent. So we got to find, so that's X percent. What percent means X percent. So we're going to have X over 100. And then 16 is 16. What percent of 20 is 16? So the is part of 16 in the formula. So what percent, which we don't know percent, so it'll be an X right here. And then what percent of 20, so 20 will go down here, is 16. So that's why the setup looks like this. And you know how to solve this, of course, it's 16 Benjamins. So how many 20s is 16 Benjamins? Right? That's what this is asking. How many, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. 1600 is equal to 20x. Right. So how many, so 20 going to 1600 about 80 times. That's right, 80. But 80 is equal to x, but when you go plug it back in, it means 80 over 100, which is 80%. So the answer here is 80%. All right, so that's your lesson for percent equation, but we're going to do word problems next, a whole bunch of them. So get ready for word problems the rest of the way from 7.2 through possibly 7.5 either. But this is your math starting off. This is the middle ground for percents. It's getting about intermediate, but that's okay. We got this. We can do this. We can get through this. Just like we can get past this coronavirus, right? We can do this. Keep the faith. I'm out. This is your math instructor for the spring 2020. Peace out. No doubt.